Wokeism and identity politics are scions of cultural Marxism. They're methods to silence, demonize, and punish dissent and free thought, and to place control of ideas in the hands of the state. And this became eye-poppingly evident in Nazi Germany and the USSR, where citizens were encouraged to rat out neighbors and even family members who didn't conform to state ideological orthodoxy. And now, what a surprise. The falsity of woke-driven pseudo-inclusiveness, as defined by the government, has found its way into Wellesley, Massachusetts schools. Hey, kids and teachers, say hello to the mindset of Hitler Youth. Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC-TV. You know, in his novel 1984, George Orwell tells readers about Winston Smith's neighbors, the Parsons, who not only are enthusiastically obedient servants of the all-powerful collectivist state, they have two children who have, with great excitement, joined the Junior Spies. Now, here's a spoiler. The kids turn in their folks and they are arrested and tortured because, of course, the folks have transgressed one of the myriad ever-changing, ever-increasing government edicts. So we can pardon anyone who might be possibly confused, because his novel takes place in a dystopian future England, but it sure sounds like the mindset the government power-wielding school bureaucrats in hardcore left-wing Wellesley, Massachusetts are pushing. Harriet Alexander reports for the Daily Mail. Quote, "A Massachusetts public school system is encouraging students, parents, and staff members to report each other for incidents of, quote, bias, end quote, and, quote, microaggressions, end quote." And what, you the sagacious viewer might ask, comprises a microaggression? Well, she continues, quote, "Such as saying the principal is crazy, mispronouncing names, and scheduling tests on cultural holidays." Oh yes, and how dare anyone criticize the tax-consuming principal of a public school or mispronounce a name, be the culprit a student or another school employee. All must conform. Big Brother demands it. Continuing, quote, "The district introduced a policy on responding to incidents of bias or discrimination with an accompanying Google Doc for those connected to the school to anonymously report each other." The policy was created in 2019, but only recently discovered. Quote, "A series of slides designed to explain the policies were obtained by Parents Defending Education, a nonprofit that fights against indoctrination in American classrooms and activist-driven agendas in schools." End quote. And what the nonprofit found is designed to be read by teachers and school staff in Wellesley, but it also applies to student behavior, since, of course, the pressure cooker of government-run indoctrination camps isn't pressing quite enough on the minds of kids who are trapped in the system right now, and it has to be increased. Quote, Nicole Neely, president and founder of the group, said the program served to silence debate and discussion. Once made aware of these programs' existence, most rational students simply refrain from discussing potentially controversial topics altogether out of an abundance of caution. As a result, whole lines of discussion and arguments that might be found on a nightly news show quietly and conveniently disappear from college campuses, she wrote in an op-ed in Real Clear Education published on Monday, June 14th. And Neely made another excellent point. Bias response teams send a clear message not only that certain opinions are wrong, but that the correct coping method when confronted with such a situation is to go tell the grown-ups. And that's not only the nature of top-down, follow the leader, go along to get along, politically hierarchical thinking. It's not only the tendency of leftists to push people to appeal to authority. It has been the collectivist plan for over a century to indoctrinate children into this mindset as if they're animals, as if they're sheep under the control of their shepherd, who will, of course, nurture this statist tendency all the way into adulthood. It's precisely what Orwell described in 1984. It's precisely the policy Lenin's NKVD and Cheka employed almost immediately following the Bolshevik Revolution in Russia circa October 1917, and it was what the German Nazis soon adopted from the Soviets to form the Gestapo, a program that continued, by the way, under the name Ministry of State Security, Stasi, when the Soviets took over East Germany. And guess what? Today in America, it's not isolated to Wellesley, Mass. Writes Alexander, quote, "In Maryland and in Massachusetts, the Montgomery County Public Schools and Newton Public Schools are in the process of introducing similar anonymous reporting systems for, quote, bias offenses," end quote. So perhaps it would be beneficial to tell those tax-consuming folks about the path they follow. Laura Williams spelled it out in an excellent piece on the German secret police, published in November 2019 by the great Foundation for Economic Education. Quote, "In that kind of tattle culture, reporting your neighbors for minor wrongdoing might keep your own family safe. The secret police had so much personal information about each citizen and so much influence over institutions, whether you could get into college, get a job, buy a car. Their power was almost absolute and absolutely unaccountable. They didn't have to arrest you. They could socially paralyze you." And of course, they did arrest people, many people. And that practice expanded into social paralysis. In the US, that paralysis has been spreading for years, and the machinery of punishment via the tax-fed state has been growing. Public schools won't stop this because they're designed to stifle freedom and dissent through the seizure of tax money and the collectivist nature of their policy making. The only way to stop the growth of the problem is to address the heart of the problem, government-run education. Escaping the system will lead to freer minds and freer speech. And with revelations such as this one from Wellesley, perhaps more people will choose liberty over being servile, speech-policed sheep, a la 1984. Hey, thanks so much for watching, everybody. Remember, if you are on YouTube, we love to see your comments. I'll see you in the comments section. Please hit like and make sure you're subscribed. Again, please hit like and make sure you're subscribed and share the videos with friends, and visit us on Rumble, where all the videos are housed. You'll see the newer videos and many of our old ones. They're being populated in the site, just in case anything happens on the old you-know-what tube. And if you have the opportunity, please visit us on Facebook. We'll see you on Instagram and TikTok and Twitter. And of course, you can always find the whole team at MRC TV. For MRC TV, I'm Gardner Goldsmith.